Welcome back to Eurosatory News. I'm Akil Wingate, and we have a special guest joining us here at Eurosatory News, and that is Mr. Steve Elwell, who is the president of AVON Protection. Welcome to Eurosatory News.
Thank you for having me, Akil. Thank you.
Now, this obviously isn't your first appearance for AVON Protection here at Eurosatory. You have a long standing history, and when I say you, I'm referring to AVON
That's
Protection.
Right.
How many years might we be going back?
So we're just a little bit younger than 150 years old as a company. So you're absolutely right. I don't really remember back then too well.
Neither do I.
But yeah, no, we've had a long-standing history of supporting our warfighter and first responders in really respiratory protection.
That kind of story that goes back more than a century, I imagine, has a heavy impact on what you create, what you bring to the table in terms of putting product out there into the public. For example, World War I.
Correct.
You possibly can go even further back than that and reference some of the portfolio of AVON, but we're not going to go so far back and have a history lesson. But it's interesting to hear that you are possibly one of the only presences here at Eurosatory that has such a long, storied history.
Well, I don't know about others, but certainly from AVON's perspective, we've really supported the warfighter since before World War I, and we've been by the side of US, UK, and NATO armed forces, predating through World War I, World War II, and every modern day conflict you can think of, and really that's the pedigree of the company. So we're there to protect people in the harshest of environments, very difficult environments where there is some form of respiratory threat, whether that be a chemical attack, a biological attack, then we're there to make sure that people can operate safely in that environment, and more importantly, can get out of that environment and go home safely at the end of the day.
That evolution has led us to our special guest here standing by next to you, I imagine. Who is this and what is this that we're looking at? That is
well, this product is we call it the FM50, which is the mainstay of our respiratory product. So this is the product that all the U.S. Department of Defense military personnel will carry, the UK defense personnel will carry, and is the NATO standard mask that's provided to the vast majority of NATO nations. So there's roughly today about 4 million of these respirators in circulation around the world. Big part of that I've really talked about the military, but also those security personnel who use this mask. So whether that be the police operators or first responders who rapidly need to enter a building where there's some form of respiratory threat behind there, maybe a drugs laboratory, for example, but also including other first responders, ambulance crew being a great example, who have to go in and do a very important job in a very difficult environment sometimes, where there may be some impact on their respiratory tract and their breathing. This is the product they all carry. These are carried in all ambulances, in police cars and in rescue crew, and they'll carry this product so that they can rapidly enter a building and know that they're safe from any form of respiratory.
So not only our military, but also our first responders, our ambulance, as well as firefighters.
Correct.
Would also be equipped with this gear.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And looking at it from this perspective, I already have the impression that it's lightweight.
Oh, it's very lightweight. I mean, it's designed to. You can imagine, even if I go back to the pedigree of AVON in World War I, gas masks. There's always something you've got to wear on your face. It's kind of enclosing you, and obviously that's how it keeps you safe. That's really been the principle of respiratory technology for quite a while. But of course, materials have evolved, human factors have evolved over those times. The technologies move forwards, and the threat has changed as well. So we have different filters which deal with different threats depending on what you might be facing. But at all times, there's clearly a human being at the center of this. So not being so enclosed,
not so cumbersome.
That panoramic view you can see here has moved a long way from. People probably remember respirators a long time ago with maybe 2 eye sockets that you just sort of stared out of. Very enclosed, very difficult.
Very limited situational awareness. Yeah,
absolutely correct. This is very much giving you that ability to step forward and be confident in the mission that you're undertaking. So a lot of technology goes into this, and of course the human being right at the center of that.
The interesting thing about this, and listening to you speak about this at length, is that you yourself are an engineer.
I gave that away, right?
You're the president, but you also come from an engineering
That's
background.
right.
So you looking at this and knowing how this functions, how this ticks, speaks volumes about the evolution of the mask, particularly under the umbrella of AVON.
Sure.
Can you speak to the creative process that takes place behind closed doors, where we get the brainstorming, and then eventually end up with what we have here now?
Absolutely. I talked about the human being at the center of this, and what runs through that DNA of AVON protection is making sure we are very engaged with our end users, understanding the environment they're in. So we actually bring our end users, the military, those first responder personnel, we bring them into that design process. So they can help us understand what works, what doesn't work, how their mission is changing, how they're doing different things. And so we do that very collaboratively with our customers. And of course, 4 million masks in circulation worldwide, we have very close relationships, as I'm sure you can imagine, with that end user community. So what I like to think of this product and what really drives us in terms of innovation is you'll be in an environment where you really don't want to wear this respirator. None of my customers really ever want to wear our product. But what I want to know is when they do wear it, it needs to work, and it needs to work first time so they can go home and see their family. And that's what really drives that creative process, keeping in touch with their end users. We have a whole range of material scientists, physicists, engineers, a whole bunch of skill sets. But really it's about bringing that user experience into our product design.
And making sure that the user can get home safely.
Every time.
I do see another mask here sitting just under this mask up here. Now, what is this here that we have here?
So this is really, you talked about our design process and where we go forward. So, one of the big areas of this mask is if you want to put this on in a hurry, for example, you may have to stop, you may have to remove your helmet, fit your respirator, and then refit your helmet. And increasingly, particularly the first responder community, they want to make a very quick entry into a building. So this is really our next generation product. It launches at the end of this year.
Okay.
We call it MITR, which stands for Modular Integrated Tactical Respirator.
Okay.
And this is actually, these two come apart here, this is actually a half mask, which very quickly you can fit that mask, you clip onto your helmet, onto any standard interface helmet. And then here there's a separate goggle set if you need ocular or eye protection. Then what you can do, you can also put that over the top. That just straps over the back of the helmet. Again, no need to remove the helmet. Very, very quick to don and provides you pretty much the same respiratory protection as a full system would do here. So this is really the next generation product that we're just starting to launch now.
I imagine in terms of mounting this, it cuts down significantly in terms of time.
It does, yeah.
Especially given a situation where seconds count. Seconds could be critical.
Absolutely right. So this is something you can easily store. You can put it in your pocket. You can throw it anywhere you want on whatever you're carrying. But again, that ability to rapidly don that, save seconds. Particularly if you're exiting a building, I just need to get out really quickly because something's happened. I can put this on and I can get out of there and kind of focus on my mission in the future.
If there's anything that you might want to impart to viewers or Eurosatory viewers who are just now getting acquainted with AVON, what might that be? Particularly given the long and storied pedigree for AVON.
I think it's that the pride I personally have, and I know that the whole of the organisation has, over that pedigree where we've stood by the side of our warfighters and first responders for over a century now, and we'll continue to do that for over a century going forwards, making sure they're part of that design process. As I say, you don't ever really want to wear this product, but when you do need to wear it, you want to know it works. So AVON, #1 in the world, best in the world, will stand by those warfighters and first responders for a long time to come yet.
Well, that's excellent. Thank you so much, Steve ETWELL, for coming and talking to us. It has been an absolute pleasure.